Cillian Murphy could be Far Cry 7's main villain. Today, we'll cover everything. Ubisoft's Far Cry franchise is one of the most successful and long-running open-world IPs ever made. The first game was released all the way back in early 2004, but it wasn't until 2012 where Far Cry really got its big break with Far Cry 3. This game arguably established it alongside Ubisoft's other flagship series like Assassin's Creed. Following that glow up, Far Cry has become a staple in the developer's catalog, with its numbered titles, spin-offs, and numerous DLCs, and the most recent release being Far Cry 6 in 2021. From then on, the Far Cry series has since gone completely silent, though there's been actually no official word on the studio's plans for Far Cry 7. Leaks and rumors have circulated throughout 2023, with the anticipation growing and the silence continued. This results in much less known about Ubisoft's next project, Far Cry 7 Rise. So today we'll cover everything we know so far about the future of the Far Cry series, the leaked location, the possible release date, the story details, its location, and a huge leak in regards to the villain of Far Cry 7, and so much more. But before we get started, if you could drop a like on this video and let me know in the comments section one thing you'd love to see return in Far Cry 7. And now let's break it down. So first, I actually wanted to touch on the details and some of the stuff that's actually been confirmed about Far Cry 7. So this is what we know so far. Ubisoft Montreal is actually in the developing role. The game may combine elements from Far Cry 3 and 5, potentially featuring a cult and a tropical island setting. The plot is framed around players rescuing their family members from a cult called the Sons of the Truth. The game is set to take place on a fictitious tropical island called Kimson, located in the Yellow Sea next to Korea. And we'll actually cover this later in the video and actually debunking this possible location. The release date for Far Cry 7 is still uncertain, but it may not arrive until at least 2025, marking the longest gap between Far Cry titles. The game's title is Far Cry 7 Rise. It'll have a non-linear structure or a twist on extraction-style gameplay. It'll also be implementing a 72-hour in-game timer mechanic to complete the full campaign. So now that we've touched on basically the confirmed details for the next game, now let's cover some of the leaked details about the location and its story. So in regards to the location, a lot of leaks have came out almost debunking the leaked location. But what we do know is that an alleged leak for Far Cry 7 surfaced earlier this year, claiming that the game will be titled Far Cry 7 Rise and will be taking place on a fictitious tropical island called Kimson that's located in the Yellow Sea next to Korea. Now that's the supposed leak for the location. Now there's a lot of other people that think that that's not even true. Even some of the widely known reporters over at Insider Gaming and some of their sources have informed us that this leak is actually completely inaccurate. So at the time I'm making this video, take that leak as you will. I'm really not going to go any further about the details of this possible location. I would definitely take it with a grain of salt. But now let's talk about the story. So it's known that the next installment in the series will be a non-linear story centered around rescuing the player's kidnapped family. The game's plot is said to revolve around a wealthy family who's been kidnapped by a conspiracy group known as the Sons of the Truth. All exact specific details are subject to change due to the game stage of development. It has been stated that the campaign's premise is for the player to rescue the entire family within a set time frame. While like I said previously, there's going to be an in-game timer currently set to 72 hours, or it'll actually be 24 hours in real time, and the player will be able to pause the in-game timer while entering safe houses that are scattered throughout the map. Now, because of Far Cry 7's non-linear story, that means that family members do not need to be rescued in any particular order, and some family members can even be killed, which will affect the game's plot in the later half. Now, what we do know is that the goal is to defeat the Sons of the Truth, and in order to complete the game 100%, you must safely rescue all of your family members and have none of them killed, and complete the game within that 72 hours or 24 hours in real time. It's also said that Far Cry 7 is going to introduce a new interrogation system, and that'll help you find your family members quicker. This does not guarantee that you'll actually get the information you need from the enemy. According to the reports, the enemy sometimes will reveal the information, maybe even lie, remain silent, or even flee. Speaking of these story details, we haven't really been able to cover one of the most important parts that makes up this game, and that's the main villain. Not much is known, but we did just get a pretty interesting leak, and if it ends up being true, it could make for a really awesome twist for Far Cry 7 Rise. So over at Insider Gaming, they did this article that reads this: Cillian Murphy to play Far Cry 7 villain, this leak suggests. It goes on by saying that a leaker suggested that Cillian Murphy will play the leading role in Far Cry 7, which is in development now. In a cryptic post on Twitter, Jonathan uploaded a series of images, which some users have tried to connect, and concluded that Cillian Murphy is stepping up in a major way for Far Cry 7. Now, Far Cry is a series that is no stranger to celebrity appearances. In the most recent title, Far Cry 6, Gus Fring, or Juan Carlo Esposito, played a big bad guy. In 2012's Far Cry 3, Michael Mando played Voss. one of the most recognizable villains in the history of gaming. There's no specific reason to highlight why Cillian Murphy of Oppenheimer and Peaky Blinders fame would be picked to play this villain, but he was also cast as Scarecrow in the Batman movie, so there's that. And then they dropped the tweet that Jonathan posted that basically has Cillian Murphy with some Far Cry 7 fan art, and then a bomb that marks 72 hours in regards to the new game. The article then goes on to say that last year we published an exclusive outlining story details for Far Cry 7, and one of these details was in reference to an image that was posted by Jonathan. This reference was a nod to the gameplay element that sees players fight against a clock to save their family from a cult-like organization in Far Cry 7, and they finish it off by saying the conclusions being drawn around Jonathan's post might be a reach in some ways, but he has successfully leaked other Ubisoft information in the past, so the track record is there. So quite the huge leak with a bit of a twist for Far Cry 7, and if it ends up happening, I really love this idea. Now, before we cover the possible release date, I want to let you guys know that we're giving away a PS5 at 80,000 subscribers. So if you want to win, all you have to do to enter is like this video, subscribe with your notifications turned on so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Follow me over on Twitter, tweet me proof that you're actually subscribed, and we'll be picking a winner at 80,000 subs. All this information will be in the pinned comment of this video. So last but not least, I wanted to briefly cover the possible release date. The Far Cry series has been fairly consistent with its release schedule since 2012. Far Cry 3 was released in 2012, Far Cry 4 was released in 2014, Far Cry Primal 2016, Far Cry 5 in 2018, and now Far Cry 6 in 2021. So there was a very consistent 2-year gap between Far Cry 3 and 5, which increased to 3 years between Far Cry 5 and Far Cry 6. And it seems that some reports claim that even fans won't see another Far Cry at least until the spring of 2025, which would be the longest gap in the series history. Now, assuming the next game won't come out until at least 2024, the wait is already comparable to the previous intervals. Another development was the November announcement that Far Cry 6 would no longer receive updates, so this could be an indicator that Far Cry 7's production will begin very soon, so we can aim for Far Cry 7 to come out most likely in late 2025. Ubisoft is for sure well known for having several projects in the work across multiple studios and partners. It has been confirmed that they will co-develop and publish Star Wars Outlaws, which is scheduled for release in 2024. Given the IP has such high expectations, it's possible that Outlaws is currently receiving more attention than Far Cry 7, which kind of makes sense. It's also worth noting that Ubisoft hasn't officially confirmed or commented on many of these reported details. It's kind of making it very difficult to predict what to expect for Far Cry in 2024, so I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That's everything I have for you today. Let me know in the comment section your thoughts on Cillian Murphy being the main villain of Far Cry 7 Rise. When do you think the game's actually going to come out? Don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, drop a like, subscribe so you never miss an upload. For any more news we get in regards to Far Cry 7, I'll make sure to keep you guys posted. This has been Zach with VGL. I'll catch you in the next one.